Everybody thinks defending your home means owning something illegal, expensive, or something you'd need a permit and a 3-day wait to get your hands on. It doesn't. Right now, completely within the law, you can open Amazon and order tools built to stop a threat cold. No license, no background check, no counter you walk up to, and have them on your porch by the weekend. That's the part that catches people off guard. The most effective stuff in this category isn't the stuff hidden behind glass at a store. It's sitting in plain sight, 2-day shipping, next to the phone chargers, and most people scroll right past it because they have no idea what they're looking at. So I pulled together the ones that are actually legal and actually work, because plenty of what gets sold as home defense is pure theater, and the difference between the two could matter on the worst night of your life. Stay with me, because I'm going to show you exactly which of these earns a spot by your door, and which ones are just an expensive way to feel brave. We start with a bow, and I know a bow feels almost too old school for a list like this. Stick with me, because a modern compound bow is a completely different animal. The Matthews V3. X33 is a flagship hunting bow built around speed, efficiency, and accuracy. Its switch weight system allows shooters to configure draw weights from 60 to 75 pounds without changing limbs, while let-off options of up to 80 or 85% make those heavy draw weights surprisingly manageable at full draw. The bow measures 33 inches axle to axle, carries a 6.5-inch brace height, and weighs about 4.7 pounds. Matthews rates it at speeds up to 336 feet per second. In real-world testing, Outdoor Life recorded 283 feet per second with a heavy 477-grain hunting arrow at 70 pounds of draw weight, producing roughly 85 foot-pounds of kinetic energy. And while 85 foot-pounds may sound modest compared to some of the entries later on this list, context matters. Bow hunters routinely and ethically take elk, black bears, and other large game with energy levels in that range. What helped make it a favorite among serious hunters is everything beyond the speed. The integrated bridge lock sight system, streamlined accessory mounting, exceptionally low vibration, and remarkably quiet shot cycle combine to create one of the most refined hunting bows of its generation. Now, we cross over to crossbows, where the learning curve gets shorter and the power starts climbing fast. The Mission Sub 1 XR gets its name from a claim most manufacturers wouldn't dare make: sub 1-inch groups at 100 yards. Mission, the crossbow division of Matthews, built the entire platform around accuracy. It's rated at 410 feet per second, and independent chronograph testing has actually recorded speeds slightly above that figure, a rarity in the crossbow world. Energy typically falls in the 120 to 140 foot-pound range depending on bolt weight, putting it firmly in serious big game territory. But the real magic is how Mission delivers that performance. The benchmark fire control system provides an exceptionally clean trigger brake, while the compact design shrinks to just over 9 inches wide when cocked, making it far easier to maneuver in blinds and tree stands. Then there's the feature hunters love most: the silent draw and decock system. Most crossbows require you to fire a bolt to safely unload them. The Sub 1 XR lets you quietly cock or decock the bow without ever sending an arrow downrange. If you're climbing out of a stand before daylight or packing up after dark, that's a genuinely useful advantage. Built in the USA and weighing roughly 7.6 pounds, the Sub 1 XR isn't the fastest crossbow on the market, but few can match its combination of accuracy, refinement, and real-world usability. If you're convinced serious crossbow performance requires spending thousands of dollars, the Killer Instinct Fatal X is about to ruin that argument. The Fatal X launches bolts at 405 feet per second and generates roughly 142 foot-pounds of kinetic energy, and it does it for around $700, roughly a third of what some premium crossbows cost. At about 6.7 pounds, it's also surprisingly light for a crossbow with this kind of performance. It runs a 195-pound draw through a 13.5-inch power stroke, and the whole thing shrinks to an incredibly narrow 6.25 inches wide when cocked. There's an X-cam system with 50% let-off, so cocking it doesn't feel like a wrestling match, and it ships with a built-in crank cocker, meaning you don't need to buy separate gear just to get it into action. One reviewer's target actually fused the arrow into the foam the first time he fired it, because his old target was only rated to 380 feet per second, and the Fatal X blew right past that. That's the kind of detail that tells you the number on the box is real. Add in the included scope package and compact hunting-friendly design, and it's easy to see why this crossbow has built such a following. This is what happens when engineers stop asking how fast a crossbow needs to be and start asking how fast they can make one. The 10-point. Nitro 505 is the fastest production crossbow you can buy, and it's the last stop before we leave arrows behind entirely. It launches a 400-grain arrow at an incredible 505 feet per second, generating roughly 227 foot-pounds of kinetic energy. To put that into perspective, independent testing has noted that's more muzzle energy than many .380 ACP loads produce. 10-point achieved those numbers with a reverse draw design and an advanced cam system that rotates 404 degrees, all built in Mogadore, Ohio. During development, company testing reportedly pushed prototypes through more than 25,000 shots, a number that speaks to the amount of engineering behind the platform. Despite its performance, the Nitro 505 remains surprisingly compact. It shrinks to roughly 6 inches wide when cocked, weighs about 7.9 pounds, and features 10 points ACU slide system, allowing hunters to cock and safely decock the bow without firing a shot. A TriggerTech trigger, premium Rangemaster Pro scope, and multiple safety systems round out the package. Now, the air power starts, and I'll be straight with you. The next couple actually sit a hair below that 10-point on raw energy, but they bring something no bow or crossbow on Earth can. You can pull the trigger again, and again. The AEA Terminator is a semi-automatic big-bore air rifle built around one idea: putting multiple hard-hitting shots on target faster than almost anything else in the airgun world. Depending on the configuration, it's available in several calibers, but the .357 version is the one that gets most of the attention. It feeds from a 10-round magazine and can launch a .357 caliber slug at speeds approaching 950 feet per second, generating roughly 160 foot-pounds of energy. That's less raw power than the heaviest hitters on this list. But unlike a bow, crossbow, or a single-shot air rifle, the Terminator lets you immediately send another round down range with every pull of the trigger. That's the whole appeal. No recocking, no working a bolt, no reloading after every shot. Just fast follow-up shots from one of the few semi-automatic big-bore PCP platforms on the market. Add in optics rails, a high-pressure air system, and the ability to deliver 10 shots before reloading, and you end up with something fundamentally different from everything we've covered so far. The next weapon is so unusual that calling it a shotgun, a rifle, or a bow would all be technically correct. The Seneca Double Shot is one of the most unusual air guns on the market because it's a double-barreled air shotgun that can fire 3 completely different projectiles. Load it with shot shells, and it throws a pattern of shot at up to 1,130 feet per second. A roughly 12-inch spread at 20 yards that's well suited for birds and small game. Remove the chokes and drop in a .50 caliber slug, and it transforms into a rifle producing around 600 feet per second and more than 140 foot-pounds of energy. Or load Air Venturi air bolts, and it becomes an arrow launcher capable of sending bolts at roughly 425 feet per second while generating around 170 foot-pounds of energy. The two barrels alternate with the flip of a selector, giving you a genuine second shot in under 2 seconds without working a bolt or reloading. It runs on a high-pressure PCP system, carries twin air reservoirs, and offers a level of versatility that almost nothing else in the airgun world can match. Take that semi-auto idea from a few spots ago, and now crank the power way up. The Western Rattler .45 Long Strike is an American-made semi-automatic big bore that makes up to 435 foot-pounds of energy per shot and feeds from a titanium 12-round magazine loaded with 350-grain slugs. Western's own number, a full magazine dumps more than 5,200 foot-pounds of combined energy downrange as fast as your finger moves. It runs a 36-inch hammer-forged barrel and a 700 cubic centimeters carbon fiber bottle, and it'll hold sub-inch groups at 100 yards with good ammo. So, this isn't a spray-and-pray novelty. It's a precise, hard-hitting, repeating big bore, which is a combination that basically didn't exist a few years ago. The cost of all that? It's a 10.5-pound rifle. It's expensive, and feeding a semi-auto big bore this much air means your fill doesn't last long. Power like this always has a receipt. If the Rattler is the muscle car, the Netvor is the German sedan. This is the refined precision end of big bore. Built by airgun technology, the Netvor is a magazine-fed bullpup built around a premium Lothar Walther barrel, the same barrel maker trusted by many high-end competition rifles. Chambered in calibers, including .457, it delivers roughly 450 to 525 foot-pounds of energy, depending on slug weight, with factory figures listing about 447 foot-pounds from a 340-grain slug, and around 525 foot-pounds, with a heavier 500-grain projectile. What makes the Netvor stand out isn't the headline number, it's how consistently it delivers it. The regulated PCP system helps maintain remarkably uniform velocity from shot to shot, while the precision barrel gives the rifle an accuracy reputation that's earned it a loyal following among serious hunters. Real-world users regularly run these as dedicated deer and hog rifles because they trust where the next shot is going to land. The bullpup layout keeps the rifle compact and easy to carry without sacrificing barrel length, and the repeating magazine system provides quick follow-up shots when needed. For the first time on this list, we're crossing into territory where the numbers stop sounding like air guns and start sounding like firearms. The Western Bushbuck is a hand-built, 100% American-made big bore designed from the ground up for serious hunting. Available in multiple calibers, including .45, it's a rifle that's earned a reputation in the field, on game ranging from North American deer and hogs to large African plains game. Here's the number that matters. On its high power setting, the Bushbuck generates more than 600 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. That's beyond the muzzle energy of many centerfire handguns, from a rifle powered entirely by compressed air. Western states that it's capable of handling any North American game animal and most non-dangerous African game, and the platform has demonstrated accuracy at distances out to 250 yards. A premium Lothar Walther barrel, precision machine construction, and a large air reservoir help the Bushbuck deliver the consistency serious hunters demand. The rifle also features a 2-position power system. Run the bolt to the first stop for a lower power, higher shot count setting, or push it to the second stop for the full 600+ foot-pound punch. You can't make a list like this without the rifle that helped put big bore air guns on the map. Built in Fort Worth, Texas, the Air Force Texan became famous for delivering levels of power that many people simply didn't think were possible from compressed air. In .457 caliber, it launches heavy slugs past 1,000 feet per second and produces well over 600 foot-pounds of muzzle energy. It's been used successfully on hogs, deer, predators, and other large game. And for years it held the title of the world's most powerful production air rifle. There's a reason the name Texan became almost synonymous with big-bore air guns. The design is beautifully simple: a long 34-inch barrel, a large air reservoir, a single-shot action, and an adjustable power system that lets shooters tune performance to their needs. Drop in a slug, cock the rifle, and send it. That simplicity is part of the appeal. Fewer moving parts, less to go wrong, and a reputation for dependable performance. And here it is, the most powerful thing on this list, and probably the most powerful thing you can legally buy without a permit, period. The AEA Zeus is a .72 caliber big bore, a bore so large it's closing in on a 12-gauge shotgun. And this isn't a hype number. When Outdoor Life took one deer hunting in Texas and put it over a chronograph, they measured 788 foot-pounds of energy with a 440-grain slug at 900 feet per second and dropped a doe with it. 800 foot-pounds is heavy-hitting revolver territory. AEA advertises even more, up to 1,500 foot-pounds with their heaviest 850-grain slugs. Though I'd treat that top figure as the manufacturer's claim, until you see it on your own chronograph, not gospel. The independently verified number, 788, is already staggering. Outdoor Life flatly called the Zeus the most powerful production air rifle, and their tester said he'd have no hesitation taking it after the largest game. People have hunted bison-sized animals with this class of rifle, from something with no primer, no powder, and no background check. And here it is, the most powerful thing on this list, and probably the most powerful thing you can legally buy without a permit, period. The AEA Zeus is a .72 caliber big bore, a bore so large it's closing in on a 12-gauge shotgun. And this isn't a hype number. When Outdoor Life took one deer hunting in Texas and put it over a chronograph, they measured 788 foot-pounds of energy with a 440-grain slug at 900 feet per second and dropped a doe with it. 800 foot-pounds is heavy-hitting revolver territory. AEA advertises even more, up to 1,500 foot-pounds with their heaviest 850-grain slugs. Though I'd treat that top figure as the manufacturer's claim, until you see it on your own chronograph, not gospel. The independently verified number, 788, is already staggering. Outdoor Life flatly called the Zeus the most powerful production air rifle, and their tester said he'd have no hesitation taking it after the largest game. People have hunted bison-sized animals with this class of rifle, from something with no primer, no powder, and no background check.